Hello, Irish fans. It's time for our Monday recruiting update with blueandgold.com recruiting expert Mike Singer. He's been the busiest man on the planet for the last 48 hours. And that's because Notre Dame hosted a lot of recruits on campus for the USC game, around 100 of them, in fact. And Mike, I know you've been doing your best to try to track each and every one of them, particularly the ones that are of importance to Notre Dame. But there probably was not a bigger name on campus than five-star quarterback Walker Howard. What's the latest there?
Yeah, definitely check out the gold standard at blueandgold.com on our front page. Got all kind of the juicy recruiting
Mhm.
scoop from some of the top guys, including Walker Howard. From what I'm hearing, not a ton to report on that we kind of didn't know already. Like, look, we knew we had a great relationship already with Tommy Reese, and that's something that goes back a while. We know he likes Notre Dame. If he didn't like the Fighting Irish, he wouldn't like rock the boat in the state of Louisiana.
Right.
Where his dad is a legend for, playing at LSU in the 90s. He's been committed there for a year and a half, helped build LSU's class. Like, he wouldn't take this visit if he wasn't at least considering this as an option, obviously. So we knew all those things. And what I'm hearing is basically kind of what we opined previously was that it's this might come down to who LSU hires
Mhm.
as their head coach and the timing of it. If it's someone with an offensive background and someone who I feel like once they get that job, they're going to call Walker Howard right away. Does he click with that person? Then what's the timing of the hire? Is it, you know, right after the last game of the season? Do they take more time and it's post December signing day? So that's kind of what you got to keep an eye on with Walker Howard. Wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame brings in Devon Brown, USC quarterback commitment here in the next couple of weekends. That Notre Dame has a
Mhm.
home game potentially this weekend. So just kind of some things to keep an eye on. And then whenever I talk about these other 2022 quarterbacks, the question I always get is, well, what about Steve Angeli? Everything I'm hearing is that he's good with his Notre Dame pledge.
It's good. Steve Angeli should not be forgotten about. Good player. Another big time prospect on campus, Billy Schrauth, the Wisconsin offensive lineman. He also, like Walker Howard, seems to keep things pretty close to the vest in terms of recruiting information he gives out. But what's your latest on him?
Yeah, just when you think Billy Schrauth is on commitment watch for Notre Dame this past weekend, and here we go. He's not committed. There's still a little bit of out there people thinking that he might land at Wisconsin. If this drags on, it's better for Wisconsin. Just
Mm.
like when everyone thought he was a super strong Wisconsin lean, it was better when it dragged on for Notre Dame side. So didn't commit privately or publicly. The former, which is at least what I'm told and reported at the gold standard of blueandgold.com, but the visit went really well. He went with his dad, his brother, and I'm guessing probably another family member too. So I'm told it went great. Seems to be nearing a Notre Dame commitment, but nothing yet from the number 4 guard in the country per Rivals. Notre Dame going to still battle with the Badgers for him.
Notre Dame has a commitment from Amorion Walker. He committed way back in March. And since then, really because of his skill set and highlights, more teams have come in over time. And he's visited other places, but he was on campus in South Bend this weekend. Did Notre Dame seal that one up?
Time will tell. But what I'm hearing that he's telling folks at Notre Dame is that yes, he's locked in, Greg. But I've also read that he wants to visit Michigan for the Ohio State game. That was before this visit, though, that he said that. So what he ends up doing, follow the visits, Greg. That's my mantra. So if Amorion Walker visits Michigan again, that would be his third time in Ann Arbor.
Yep.
Uh, that would be that might swing things into a flip, but right now I feel like it's gone from optimism to confidence on the Notre Dame side of things, but still kind of like a little bit of cautious confidence, if that's a term,
Yeah.
because you just don't know with Amorion Walker. And he's visited Alabama a couple times, visited LSU, Michigan. I mean, he's visited all these places twice now. So at least he got that second visit into Notre Dame.
Mike, you and I both hit the road on Friday night to go visit Notre Dame prospects. You visited a commitment, Devon Moore, who was in South Bend eventually for the USC game. But how did he look down at Naples High School on Friday night?
Yeah, he was great. Recorded about a half dozen tackles. And then the first play of the game, they kicked it off to him, and caught it on the left side of the field, ended up down on the right sideline, 90-yard touchdown. And it was a thing of beauty. He's getting it done on special teams this year. This is not his first return touchdown. A really sure tackler. I mean, the other team, South Fort Myers, only threw the ball Moore's way twice. One pass broken up, the other was completed, but it was zone coverage, and I think Moore was expecting some safety help on the inside. So strong performance. This young man, 6'2", 6'3", 180 pounds, ranked as a 4-star prospect per Rivals. I mean, he's so darn good. A lot of the times we talk about these 6'2", 180-pound corners, Greg, where it's like, well, he might play safety because maybe his short area quickness and his coverability, maybe he's just not quick enough and can lock guys down at the corner position. I don't think that's the case with Moore. If he plays safety, it's because he's just too darn good not to put there. This young man can play corner at Notre Dame. He's a very good athlete. And Greg, you were in the Raleigh-Durham area and saw Noah Rogers, number 180 overall player in the country in that 23 class. His highlights look good, scored 3 touchdowns. What'd you see from him, Greg?
Yeah, and there's a really easy comparison for another Notre Dame player. Reminded me of Kevin Austin quite a bit. In fact, oddly, and this was before I even looked at it, they are both listed in their Rivals profiles as recruits as being 6'3", 185. So, and likewise to Kevin Austin, you could tell that Noah Rogers is going to put on some weight and strength, and he's going to be a bigger, stronger receiver, but still bring a lot of athleticism to the table. It was one of those games, they fell behind early, and then his team, Roseville High School, totally leaned on Rogers to bring them back in the football game, and that's where those 3 touchdowns came from, 2 of them in the second half, part of a big comeback to eventually tie the game before they lost it in the final seconds. But just one of those guys, he's the best player on the field, right? And you watch him, he looks so fluid that sometimes you think maybe he's just kind of going through the motions, maybe a little bored, but I don't know, maybe I just think he's just a real smooth athlete, really good, just natural catcher of the ball, good ball catcher, a lot of strength in his hands. So I was impressed. There's a long way to go with his recruitment. He'll tell you it's early, but he will tell you that Notre Dame is a school that does stick out for him, that he likes quite a bit.
That touchdown reception he had right on the sideline, Greg. Did you think he was in? And I'm sure you probably played that one back a few times. Did you think he was in?
Well, you saw the tweet I sent out via our Blue and Gold account, right? And I put the still image in there, and I thought you could see a little bit of green between the shoe and the sideline. And I'll run it here on the video too. But you got to trust the referee. The referee was in the perfect spot, and he was looking down at his foot. I think he was at least. So, but like that play is a good point though. He made that look so easy. And that was right after he had an 8-yard catch on an out route where he took a pretty good pop on a tackle. And they went right back to him, and boom, he has the wherewithal to catch the ball and get both feet down. Pretty impressive play for a kid that's just a junior in high school. Well, Mike, we'll talk again on Thursday as we are planning to go live for our Thursday night recruiting chat. I'm sure there'll be plenty of questions still about Walker Howard, Billy Schrauth, and all the news coming out of the big visit weekend for Notre Dame as they defeated USC 31-16. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. Check out Mike Singer's Gold Standard. He's going to have a lot of recruiting updates on blueandgold.com during the week. Tons of scoops. So check it out. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll be back soon.